All right, so let's do task number two. It says here request and response. So when we access a website, your browser will need to make requests to a web server for assets such as HTML, images, and download the response. Before that, you need to tell the browser specifically how and where to access these resources. This is where your URLs will help. So what is URL? Uniform Resource Locator. If you use the internet, you've used a URL before. A URL is a predominantly instructions on how to access a resource on the internet. The below image shows what URL looks like with all its features. It does not use all the features in every request. So here's the schematics of that. So you have the scheme, the user, contains a password at tryhackme, which is the host or the domain name. The port is 80. The path is view room. The query string, which is ID equals 1. And then the fragments, which is task 3. So let's go ahead and define all of these. So we have schemes. This instruct on what protocol to use for accessing the resource such as HTTP, HTTPS, File Transfer Protocol. So this gives us the information about the protocol accessing resources. And then you have user. Some services require authentication to log in. You can put your username and password into the URL to log on, just like a banking system or anything that is secured. Try hack me, so it requires to log in. So you have your username and password. Then the hosts, the domain name or IP address of the server you wish to access. Port. The port you are going to connect to, usually 80 for HTTP and 443 for HTTPS, but this can be hosted on any port between 1 to 65,535. Path. The file name or locations of the resource you are trying to access. Query string, which is extract bits of information that can be sent to the request path. For example, blog ID equals 1 would tell the blog path that you wish to receive the blog article with the ID of 1. Then you have the fragment. This is a reference to the location of the actual page request. This is commonly used for pages with long content and can have a certain part of the page directly linked to it. So it is viewable to the user as soon as they access the page. Making a request. It is possible to make a request to a web server with just one line, get HTTP slash 1.1. So here's the method. And then you have the other side, the HTTP protocol version, gauge HTTP slash 1.1. The page is being requested. But for a much richer web experience, you need to send other data as well. This other data is sent in what we called headers, where headers contain extra information to give the web server you're communicating with, but we'll go more into this in another task. So this is an example of it. HTTP 1.1, host me, user agent, Mozilla. The browser is Mozilla 5.0, Firefox 87.8. For HTTPS, it's a secure HTTPS.com. So to break this down, each line of this request, so the request is sending the get method. More on this in the HTTP method task. To request a homepage with slash and telling the web server we are using HTTP protocol version 1.1. Line 2. We tell the web server we want the web server tryhackme.com. Line 3. So this is line 1, line 2, And then line 3, the web server, we are using the Firefox browser. Oh, we're talking about right over here. Line 4, we are telling the web server that the web page that refer us to this one is https://hackme.com. Line 5, HTTP requests always end the blank line to inform the web server the request has finished. So these are the example response. Right over here, you have the HTML, the header, the title, the initial, and then you have the head, the body, welcome to Try Hack Me, the body, and the HTML. So to break down each line of the response, HTTP 1.1 is a version of HTTP protocol server is using, then followed by the HTTP status code. In this case, it's 200 OK, which tells us the request has completed successfully. This tells us the web server software and the version. Line 3, current date and time zone of the web server, which is right over here. And then you have line 4, the content type header tells us client what sort of information is going to be sent, such as HTML, image, video, PDF, XML. So in this case, it's text HTML. Line 5, content length tells the client how long the response is. This way we can confirm no data is missing. It says here it's 98. And then you have line 6, which is HTTP response client and a blank line to confirm the end of the HTTP response. 7 to 14, information that has been requested, in this instance, a home page. So what HTTP protocol is used on the above example? So we have, the above example that we have is HTTP /1.1. Where can you find that? It's right over here. Click on this one. So what response header tells the browser how much data is expected? So it's in the, it's a header, right? So what response tells us the browser how much the data is, it's actually content length, because this is how long it is, and in this case it's actually 98 right over here. So the answer here will be content dash length, right? And yes, we got it right. Okay, see you in the next room.